Good. All right, I'm ready.
Okay, this is Tricia filling in as chair, and we're gonna call the meeting to order at 6:13 p.m. And we will start with roll call of council members. Laurel, I always start to my right.
Roll call word aye. Or word present.
Brian Sanders, here.
Tom McCluskey here.
Tricia Azayato here. Okay, so then we'll go to invocation. Want to read it together? Okay. Go.
This is our school. May peace dwell here. May the rooms be full of contentment. May love abide here. Love of one another, love of our school, and love of life itself. Let us remember that as many hands build a house, so many hearts build a school.
Thank you. Okay, so moving to 1.4, is there any agenda modifications?
Maggie, Vicky's in waiting.
Nice. Okay, so seeing none, we will move to 1.5. Is there any audience to address the council? So anybody on Zoom? Yes. I'm not seeing anybody raise their hand or unmute, so we will go to item 2, consent agenda. So anybody wants to make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
A first and a second, any further discussion or questions or comments? Okay, let's call for the vote. Laurel, we'll start with you.
Okay, aye.
Good. Brian, aye.
Donna. Tricia, aye. Okay. Oh, now. Over and over. Okay, so moving on to faculty. Cheryl, it says Nick, but I know you're giving us our faculty.
Nick is
Oh,
not
it says
on, Nick is no longer a co-chair,
Nick.
it's Cheryl.
Nick only has 2 jobs.
He only has 2.
Oh.
Is he only 2?
Probably. Yeah,
Yes, I
because
think he is only
he's a
2.
backup for finance, I think.
Oh, yeah.
He is,
He's
but
Yeah.
doing adjunct. He's a third grade teacher and
Yeah.
he's a game teacher. And I couldn't get on Zoom, so Ryan's gonna share the presentation. So there's that's what the teachers all look like on Friday. Sunflowers, so one's rosy and shiny and sunny and summery, and we had a week of school, and we went, oh, okay, but we're happy to be here.
It wasn't that bad.
It was busy.
It was busy.
It was busy.
And it's the first time we've done the first week as a full 5 days.
Yeah.
We always just done 2,
What was the feeling of that? It was busy.
I just kept telling myself, the day after Halloween, the day after Halloween.
We always- So that was the discussion. We're starting on Monday, so we have to take our first off Friday after Halloween.
Yeah.
So that was the
That's a good way to get through it.
And so we did it, and we got through it.
It's
exhausting.
Really,
Yeah.
well,
It's
we really
exhausting.
happy November.
It's really fun.
Actually, October.
Yeah. So, okay. So
That'd
that's,
be very.
and that's, Maple Rose class, that's their, I think that was our first Friday playtime, they had time to take a picture. They got right into the throws. And I said, our first week was lively and full. We are learning so many new things, tiny bit by bit. New friendships and rhythms are forming, and we're settling into the good work of children, which are imagination, imitation, and play. And this year we have TK as well as K in the class. And so they're learning how to listen to their bodies. And I'm learning how to remember to remind them. I have to remind the little ones more. And what it's like to eat only at designated times. We're learning lining up, sitting in the chair for story, the transitions, and so yeah, they have a lot to learn. This is Huckleberry. During our first week of kindergarten, the children did a wonderful job learning classroom routines, some new songs, and one another's names. They practiced caring for their belongings, working out difficulties with classmates. The children created some beautiful drawings with block crayons. They shaped bread, helped squash avocados for our guacamole, and learned to wash dishes. They also shaped bees out of modeling beeswax for fun and beauty, to build fine motor skills and perseverance, and to learn about the good friends behind the bees. Come visit any time to soak up some kindergarten magic. And Miss Hunter has taken grade 1. Last year she was our ELA specialist and LPAC, really. And now so she's got the first graders. And they're doing a fantastic job learning their new classroom routines and getting used to a longer school day. Form drawing stories with Chipper the Squirrel during main lesson have been a hit. We love our 5th grade book buddies that we get to spend time with on Thursdays. Second grade with Miss Brittany. Second grade has a class pet named Fireball that students get to take home for the weekend. They carry him home in a special backpack and write journal entries about the adventures they take Fireball on. Students practice reading Fireball bedtime stories too. On Mondays, students share their adventures with the class. The green dragon is a calming way to dragon to snuggle with Boompots. Students named him Mint Chip, Buttermint, or Minty. This is Mr. Meyer's class. In 3rd grade, we've been learning the creation story from Hebrew culture. Each day, we've heard about a new part of our world being made. We painted every day, much to the students' delight. In 4th grade, we have a new main lesson rhythm following Catherine Langman's model for 4th grade. She's the mentor that has been coming to and is coming soon. We're incorporating dictation, note-taking groundwork, recitation, which is animal medicine, oral speaking, and artistic rendering, clay modeling for story recapitulation. We're hearing the tales from the Kalevala, the land of heroes, from old Finland. We're currently reviewing cursive writing and learning beginning Celtic knot drawings using colored pencils for the first time. Ms. McDonald has the 5th graders beginning their study of ancient civilizations with India. We've also been busy playing healthy play games. Our current favorite is Cosmic Motions. The most loved activity of the first week of school was a STEM activity called Save Fred, where we rescued a worm from a stormy sea using only paper clips. Our first main lesson block is geometric drawings, and as you can see by the examples, the students are loving it. By 6th grade, students are at a stage where their thinking becomes more logical and analytical. Studying geometry helps refine these skills. Working with geometric shapes requires precision, problem solving, and spatial reasoning, all of which contribute to the development of mathematical and abstract thinking, which we're soon to get into with our math curriculum. Also studying the beginnings of these shapes in historical Greek times, and have learned about the start of the calendar system, the creation of the sundial. And that's with our 2 subs, Mr. Byert and Ms. Angela. Ms. Lee, we started the year with 2 weeks of perspective drawing. This classic 7th grade block is a favorite among students who can then incorporate it into their drawings throughout the year.
Not it.
I was gonna say, where is it?
Took a long time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mr. Madera and then Claire too. And music. So grade 8, did Nick usually read this out to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
great.
yeah. Not always this long.
I'm impressed with
I'm
everybody.
enjoying it.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
that's encouraging.
we did.
Thank you. The eighth graders are in a short story block where they're learning to plot out stories using freight tags, pyramids. They are also learning how to develop characters, setting, tone, and conflict. This week, they began the process of writing their own children's book that will be shared with first and second graders. Aw, that's nice. And then this is the lower grades handwork. Miss Claire teaches that. In handwork, we're working on getting back into the routine of school, focusing on being safe, responsible, and respectful in the classroom, and remembering how our hands work. First grade has learned about where our handwork materials come from and have done well in the process of making their knitting needles. Second grade is right back to knitting. Pictured on the right are two students who finished projects today. And in third grade, we're working on weaving, starting with paper weaving. In fourth, we're talking about interconnectedness of humans and nature, starting with fabric applique depictions of the water cycle. Did I say applique? Applique depictions of the water cycle. And in fifth, we're making beaded keychains. Middle school handwork has moved. We're currently settling into our new space nearer to the other middle school rooms. Students are taking an active role in organizing our tools and materials and are feeling inspired to do handwork. Middle school handwork includes 6th, 7th, and 8th, and our focus for the last week has been to build our handwork class community of mixed grade classes. And this is Emily. Miss Swanson has music. I'm so excited to be back at Blue Oak, she says, teaching my great love, music. This semester, 4th and 5th are taking strings. Upper grades choose from strings, music appreciation, or choir. Band is temporarily on hold as we get our instruments in order. I was blown away during the first week by the students' talent, excitement, and enthusiasm. Blue Oak students are so amazing.
Came for a break.
Yeah, she's been busy. She's been doing lots of trainings.
Until the time it's ready.
She's taking on 2 tasks.
3 sort of.
Yeah,
She
okay.
is LPAC, so she's doing our
This is the
second
introduction.
language, second language students, our ELA reading and so forth, math, grades math, so she's doing advanced math and beginning reading, so and she's excited about it. So it's good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, she's
Thank you for
excited.
sharing.
Oh, sure.
I'm so glad that they all filled something out on the first week, so that's fantastic. Yeah, it's good to see.
It's cool.
Yeah. Okay, so anybody have any questions for Cheryl before we move on? Okay, so moving on to item 4, school enrollment.
So, put that on here, I knew that the question would be coming up. We are still, as Annie told me after I put this agenda on, she says, you have to look at it the first 10 days of school, what day are you on? I said 7. You're looking at a 2-6. So, what we do, and I wanted to make sure you knew, we do have dropped in our enrollment again this year. So Annie and I are already beginning to work on that. So that was really what it is, and I'm not gonna give you the number because Annie told me that.
Okay.
And we are still enrolling students. I know we had two new ones today, and then we had a tour today, so we're still enrolling students. Annie is right.
Anybody have any questions before we move on to item 5?
Because that means that we will for sure see the numbers next week.
You should see them next week.
We will for sure. see-
We'll see them next week.
Okay.
But as I said, we really don't solidify our numbers until the first week of December.
Oh.
That's when we turn our, that's when we turn up, you'll see the numbers.
Yeah.
But our formal numbers is that we get funding based on for those areas we get funding and enrollment. is the first, I think it's October 2nd, there's a particular date, and you say, this is your day, this is how many students you get for the rest of the year, so.
I know that things shift, especially at the beginning of the school year, but I'm just curious, we, in a nonprofit I'm working in, we actually had a consultant, and I don't think it would have to be an expensive consultant, but we had them talk about our organization, giving people complete anonymity. I mean, the board never knew where they got the comments, but they were able to give us some frank feedback on where they thought we could improve. And I just wonder if, anyway, if you see a decline in enrollment that's concerning, if it might be worth reaching out to some people, offering them that anonymity.
To kind of host an anonymous survey, like on Facebook.
Yeah, this was actually done as interviews, a consultant, again, I mean, that could be a parent or whatever, but they understood that they were very protected, and it was very helpful to us in knowing, help guide us to make some changes in the organization. So I'll leave it there. But
Thank you. It is part of what Karen is doing as far as the community, what she's doing is sitting down with students, with parents, and with staff, just getting some open feedback that goes to her.
It's not raw data.
She gives me pictures of like, this is what people are saying.
Yeah.
But I know it's never gonna be.
Yeah.
So we are doing that, start doing that next year. Which is where some of our restorative practices and our focuses on some of those things came from. So we're doing it. Okay, Rachel.
Thank you.
I was just gonna say, we sit down and meet weekly, and we go over any data that's new, or sometimes we go over data that's monthly or quarterly, depending on how long we go out, and we just review anything we're trying to see if it's resulting in good or bad, or we need to change anything. But I used to be a consultant back in the day for the state, and so I have that like compliance background and in my tool bag, so to speak. And that is kind of how I go about it. And I tell people when I meet with them, whether it's parents or staff, that even if it's a situation with maybe organizationally, Susan's been super receptive and open to anything I have to say, and coaching even, and all of that. So
We did it as a slightly formalized process, and it was a person that they hadn't typically been around. So by kind of formalizing it, I think it made people a little more comfortable to understand it was anonymous and that they could speak very freely. So.
true, and not have it be connected to the school in any way. Yeah.
And it cost us $45,000.
Yeah,
We're not gonna do it again real soon.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Karen, did you, I know we've talked about this before, but did you start integrating kind of exit interviews into that?
There's two families that I contacted. One refused to, this was over the summer,
Yeah.
like I knew they were leaving and I wanted to know why, so I contacted them. One refused to call me back, and the other was also a staff person here, and that person explained it was personal reasons, had nothing to do with the school. But yeah, that is something we obviously try to do. And me and Kelly Sexton have also put in a practice into play where, I think it's Kelly Mackey also supposed to be in charge, where on Monday she calls and follows through. And then I come into the picture on the back end if she is able to highlight, like, this is somebody that needs follow-up. Yeah, because we definitely want that information.
Yeah, so we
Yeah,
have
we
a
all want
process.
some valuable.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's like, I want that kind of,
Yeah.
That's how we improve.
Exactly.
Anything else on school enrollment? So we'll move on to 5, start at 5.1, establishing council members and roles. So this is where we need to say who's going to be chair.
We need a chair, we need a co-chair, we need a finance committee chair, we need a facilities committee chair, and then we have a secretary who needs to sign minutes and things like that. So we need those 5 positions. positions. We only have 5 people in town for here. So that makes it a little difficult, I think.
So Vicki did Zoom in, I don't know if she can talk on behalf of herself, I know we
She
can't,
certainly can, she just can't vote.
she just can't nominate
She
anybody.
can't nominate, she
Yeah.
can't vote. It's a little tough.
So I would like to do facilities on the side.
You would like to? I nominate you.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a good, I've been
Yeah,
going
that's
to those
great.
meetings.
I forgot parent counseling.
Oh,
I apologize
and
for that, so that's 6.
Yeah,
There's more people than you have.
It is what
So we also need to fill some
I
seats.
think that, do we,
does anybody have one they would like to do? Vicki,
Yeah,
what you would like to do?
you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
I was committed for another year to the chair that that I've been sitting in. So if that's okay with you guys, I will continue for another year.
I would love to nominate Vicki to be
Please.
chair.
Oh, yeah.
Was one of
Yeah.
those vice chair?
Yeah, so like if Vicki can come, then,
I'll do that.
okay.
can we just vote a slate? If
I think we can.
Yeah, if we all agree.
I'll take finance since you don't have to do 2.
Yes, that would be great.
But I'm no longer on PC, so I would like to give up PC.
PC.
Yeah.
So what if we have nobody, like, can we not have a rep for PC? How does that work? Until like we,
not had a rep for
like if we have another person come in, then we can ask them.
I do go to PC or Karen
Yeah.
does, so one of us can do the report.
Yeah.
So we
I
have
think,
someone
I mean,
else.
that would be my thought, but just because it's more of a listen and report back than like active
Yeah.
participation
Yeah,
versus
it's a
facility.
representative
Yeah.
as opposed to
A chair, yeah. I mean, that's, what does everybody else think? Laura, what about secretary? Did you sign the minutes?
sure, I did manage that.
I'll nominate Laurel to be secretary. Okay, so we have Vicki as chair, Donna is co-chair, Ronnie in for finance.
And Donna's co-chair, yeah.
Yep. And then I'll do facilities. And Laurel as secretary and no rep for PC for now, but we'll just get a report from somebody.
Is Leanna still on the board?
As of now,
She's
she's not.
not.
Right, okay.
As of today.
So we have a community and a parent.
And has there been stuff that has gone out for that yet?
Not really. It was, it is the role of the parent council to do that, and I think they really attempted to figure out what their role is, but I'm not sure we did enough.
Well, this is the first meeting we've really had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So usually we try to have that election for that appointment happen in May, so that then the new person is able to attend meetings and learn about it. But it has often not happened, so,
So everybody start recruiting.
Well, I know that PC collected a fairly large list of contacts of people who are interested in PC. Maybe those people
Reach
would
out
be
to
equally interested.
Yeah, sign up.
Or at least somebody who raised their hand.
And I spoke to the 3rd grade class, and I'll do, already done 8th grade.
I think there's a hand.
Because they're going. But I'm talking to them about being involved.
Oh, it's your hand.
So, starting the 3rd grade, they've been throwing their own seeds.
Okay.
What is the process if somebody does want to? Who would you do that?
Here's an
If,
application.
if there's an application process.
So they go to the office?
Yeah, fill that out, yeah.
I feel like it's on the website, right? Is the application?
I think it is on the website also.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah,
like
I
it's-
should be wrong, have to come in person to get the
Yeah.
application.
So does anybody want to make a motion to nominate the list of people? You can read it off.
I move that we accept the nomination list with Donna as co-chair, Vicki as chair, Laura as secretary, Ryan on the finance committee, and Trish on the facilities committee.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Move for the vote.
I'm there now. Laurel Hill Ward, aye.
Right.
Donna, aye. Trisha, aye. Now that you know that you're the starting one over there, see what happens, you sat over there and you have to start.
No.
Yeah.
The pressure's
Yeah,
on
look at
you.
you.
I'll be back here.
You're like, it's fun.
Okay, so moving on to 5.2, approval of meeting dates. So there is a list of days.
Was this another packet?
No,
It's
it's
in
in that first
Oh,
packet,
Yeah, it's in the
page
packet.
20.
Well.
Oh, it's page, like in my packet.
Oh,
Like 20 and 29. Yeah, there.
Let's see.
Okay. But this essentially represents a no change from our current.
Yeah, this is the third Tuesday of each month. Is there anyone that is different in
Today's.
today's? What about December? Is that the, I know with the right.
December's.
Tuesdays, yeah, that is the third Tuesday. Right? Spring break, we move one, or March, we move one, it's the fourth, because of our break. I will tell you Tuesday, August 26th does not work for you.
Telling you guys
Well,
that
you're in
in
Oh,
advance.
I was like, yesterday?
Yeah, but
No,
next
we're-
year.
we're not gonna be this.
School will be in.
Anybody else have, like, any other conflicts that are gonna?
I may be gone for a November meeting, but I haven't, I'll try to plan it so I'm not.
We're gonna work on getting another community member, so it's okay if you are.
Why, how can we extort candy into doing it?
Weekend in Fort Bragg.
Yeah.
Susan and I know a grandmother whose grandchildren went through book, and she'd be wonderful. She's a willow, so.
Oh, carpool.
We would.
We tried so far, but we'll try again.
Yeah, it is hard. Okay, so no changes, so do we have a motion to approve?
Are we talking about the 26th of August then?
Well, we can leave it, and if there's enough people, then I just won't be here. I won't be here.
Okay.
That's our deadline to have another parent.
That's
fine. You have a year to have another parent.
It's a tough month, that's all.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, if we move it up, then we're running into the
First day of school,
or
the week before
registration.
is
Yeah, you gotta push
registration.
it back.
August is.
I know,
Then
sorry.
it's September,
Yeah,
or you gotta do it like a Wednesday.
yeah.
You'll have another parent by then, so we'll be fine. I'll be thinking of you not on that day. As my daughter turns a teenager, okay?
Oh, God.
I know. I'm talking about it. She is very
Okay.
Really, a couple of years.
I know.
Think about it.
Anybody want to make a motion to approve the meeting dates?
I move to approve this.
I'll second. Any other comments, questions? Okay, let's go for the vote.
Laurel Hill Board,
Ryan,
Donna, Tricia, aye. Okay, moving to 5.3. Oh, finance, I'm doing this, I'm still not prepared.
what?
I don't have my meeting right now, so hold on.
Okay, good, I'll solve it.
Okay,
Could you
go.
tell me what is the rhythm of the dance thing? Of the thing I just went. When is it?
It is
The day
4:15
previous.
on the
Second Tuesday.
Tricia, you were on finance, I think I took all of these things out, so I was gonna scan them in.
Can we go off of it?
Alright.
Okay, let's see, what did we talk about? We did not have the monthly finances yet because they were still finalizing them all, so I did get them. And I'm still going over them and I have a whole bunch of questions, so Annie is on here, but we'll touch base and go over those, so I don't have anything on the finances to close out the last year. We talked a little bit about finance options for the new school, but that's more in facilities, so we'll talk about that. We approved the nursing contract we recommended it for the board. We talked about liability insurance. We did recommend software that will plan for the lunches, the school lunches, and it will help them, and I'm sure it's on here as well. It will help them nutrition-wise, what they need to have in each group, right? They need to meet certain requirements to be in compliance, and this software will help do that. It was a lengthy discussion we had at finance because of the cost of it, and given our current budget. I don't have the numbers in front of us, but I'm sure when we review it on here, Susan will tell us. But it's like $7,000-ish. And so that they really said they needed it to make sure we were in compliance, building our menu, and it will save them time in doing that. So we had quite a lengthy discussion about that. We also talked about music, so we bringing Miss Emily and Miss Swanson in to that position, and the first, second, and third. The first, second, and third student in the classroom.
Yes.
Okay, first through third will hold music in the classroom. That will not be for our music teacher. And Miss Swanson will hold all the other grades for music, focusing on the strings. So the classroom teacher will now be holding that classroom for that music. So we saved some money there, not necessarily where we want to save money, because we want music to be in all of the children's lives, but because we were having a part-time music teacher, it did save some money in the budget because we don't have a full-time, because she's just focusing on those other things. So we did talk about in finance that we still want to be able to bridge that gap, so teachers are not losing another prep period, right? So they need that time to be prepared, and now they don't have any of that. So we talked about that a little bit and trying to find some time for them to be able to have their prep periods. And we did have the classroom account balances. So those will be presented at the beginning of the year for the teachers, so they know what their classroom balance is at the beginning of the year, and anytime after that, they will schedule a meeting with Elise to kind of review that one-on-one throughout the year if they want it, but once a year. So teachers have probably already been given this for the year. This is what their current balance is. It won't be a monthly thing. It's quite a process for them to put it together. So from a time commitment standpoint, they will just provide that once a year, and then the teachers can request a one-on-one meeting to go through that for their specific classroom if they want. I think that is my hand.
Pretty good from memory.
I looked at the agenda.
Oh.
Any questions? Okay. Okay, so moving on to 5.4. Here it comes.
I did not do Karen. But Susan, did you?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
Is this
Yeah, Karen, do you?
It did not.
Okay.
Oh,
Like,
goodness.
the meeting's tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, so no more
If I'm not mistaken, it was just a quick, like,
They were just, it
a
was
video.
their first official meeting isn't until
Exactly.
September 10th.
Oh.
This
that's
is
what I
just like
meant.
let's get together and talk about.
They called it an aloha meeting.
Aw,
Yeah.
that's cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
When is it, September 10th?
Okay. So, moving on to 5.5, which is facilities, which is me. Let me pull up this for that one. I do have it. Okay, so this meeting was mainly to talk about architects. We had 8 architects, I think, that we found through referral processes, or mainly referral processes, some of it Google searches, some of them other architects recommended. I reached out to all of those architects, and we had 5 questions that we asked them. And then we came back at our last meeting and reviewed those questions, what their answers were. What we decided is that we want all of them to come in and do like a quick 5-10 minute pitch to us of what, so we need to put together a packet first that says this is what we're looking for. So Ms. Jennifer is working on, this is what we're looking for from the design survey feedback. I am putting together like, here's where our land is, here's the size of it, here's like the soils, all of that side of it. So we have a packet that we can send all of these architects that says, here's about our school and our site and what we're looking for, put together a pitch for us. They will come and present it to us. I don't remember what that date is.
Did HMC
Do finance or
respond?
facilities?
Yes, they did.
They've done a lot of
Yes.
schools and discovery
Yeah.
centers.
Um,
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so, it was a productive meeting, I think, so we're moving forward. The one thing that I would say is, I think we are really optimistic for a 2-year timeframe.
Say
What
that
timeframe?
again.
If 2-year timeframe is very optimistic.
Okay.
So in talking to the architects, they say it's gonna take a year to get the design process and actually get permits. And then you have a year to build, if we're moving in like the first day of school. So not having this design part done already is gonna push us, I think, another school year. So, yeah, 3 architect firms told me that. So whether or not we use somebody like Rose Schools that does the whole thing, maybe we'll go faster. But that is the feedback that I've gotten, because it takes, by the time we get the design together, we choose an architect, the board approves it. We're 3 months down the road from now, and then we have to then come up with a design, and we have to submit it for permits. So that's kind of
So-
So they are working on the district is working on the bond issue to be passed in November.
Yeah.
And expects to have expired in 2021.
but maybe they've already have their design.
They do already have the
Yeah.
design, but it's 9%
They said you can do it in 9 to 12 months,
Yeah.
but with the like with the prefabs,
Right, which is what.
Yeah, which is what we've spoken, that was one of our questions to our architects, have you done stuff with modular prefab construction? Because that's something we've looked at, and a lot of them are really nice looking. So one of the architects that is gonna come did the Yuba River Waldorf School, so we talked to him a few times, some photos of that one. So a lot of them are really cool, and that does cut down on our time. The big thing is just getting a plan. And I think we're months away from having a plan, right? So,
Have you given them a budget for the plan itself? Kind of, do they have any kind of a budget?
we
'Cause-
don't have any of that yet.
yeah,
So it's really hard. It's like, we want you to put something together, but we
Sure.
have no numbers, and we have no packet to say this is what we want, right? So we're just,
yeah.
so right now, facilities, I'm really trying to encourage them to meet every 2 weeks to really
Right.
get this going, so everybody is okay with that.
I wonder if at the outset, I'm thinking of our process with the HMC, and they designed us an incredible building, and they weren't, comparatively speaking, it wasn't more costly for the
Yeah.
plan than other, but kind of letting them know that it's on the budget.
We have had that discussion,
Okay.
like obviously, we're publicly funded, we only have so much money, right?
Yeah.
That's why we're looking at prefab modular
Okay,
systems. So one of the architects does have their own plant that they manufacture those, so they do a lot of that work.
okay,
So there's a lot of really good firms. The other one we haven't talked to is Pro Schools, which is, I think, a contender. So facilities wants to get in contact with them, so when we're looking at we're looking at all of them.
okay.
So,
Why is it very much?
because I think until there's a somewhat of a design, I don't know, that's a good question, but I haven't been given, so, until there's a design, we don't know how much it's gonna cost. So we have a range, right? So we have a pretty wide range.
Okay, but as a designer, that's
It's
kind of crazy speak to me, like,
Yeah.
I would have asked for project requirements
So
that I
Susan
can
and I are
design.
gonna meet coming up to kind of get all of those things lined out.
Okay.
So we have a better
Right, so
idea.
it's just picking a number, right? And then we can afford this.
So somebody kind of needs to guide us depending on what the financing option we use, how much that's going to cost us. Right, and I think that's where we're stuck, like depending on if we do the bonds, or depending on if we do traditional financing, or depending on if we do, right, like something with the grow schools where you kind of lease it and then own it at the end, like those are all very different.
And bonds aren't sure they necessarily.
Or if the bond issue passes.
Yeah, or if the local bond issue,
Yeah.
so.
I would be a little nervous about, we need a design to set a budget, because then the budget changes the design.
Yeah.
And now you're 6 months
Yeah.
away again.
Yeah, we have to have some
You
kind
have
of
to set your requirements.
we have to have some idea of what the project costs, the total project cost
Yeah.
is.
And if you have a range, just say the bottom.
Yeah.
Just, there's the number.
And I have done that with some of them.
Yeah.
Like, this is where we're thinking.
Yeah.
And they haven't hung up on me.
Okay, good.
So that's where we're at
Okay.
right now.
So
So,
I really appreciate taking this on.
And one other thing too, I would think that for any place that's done a lot of design work in this area, they may have kind of an off-the-shelf plan that they've used in another
yes,
school that could be,
they can
easily-
start from.
yeah, that they can, which I'd be tempted to ask them if they do to keep the costs down.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, they'll take the design.
Well, and that's like Yuba River does, right? Because they did that one in 2016, was it that long? No, I think it was more recent. So like they have done something similar, right?
Yeah,
So, and all of them, for the most part, except for one, has done schools. Have done schools, yeah. And some component of a modular prefab as well, so,
because boy, the schools have a lot of requirements that other facilities.
yeah. And all of them, except for one, has worked with it.
Okay.
So those were kind of two of our questions, right?
Yeah.
Do you know the local codes and process?
Yeah.
Have you done a school? So,
Sounds
So
like a
it's
lot of
been-
work's gone into it, thank you.
yeah, so it's been good. I think we're making some progress. Everybody's excited. We need more people on that committee. I think there's 4 of us that show up on a regular basis. So if anybody has anybody that is good in that department, send them in. But
How many, you say you have 4?
we have 4 that are showing up regularly. A couple of them said now that school's back in and summer's over, they will start. So I don't know how many that committee was supposed to have. So, and we have next meeting dates where the architects are gonna come, and I don't have. So we are doing it on a Monday. I think we're doing it the 16th because we wanted to do it just before charter council. So if there's anything we needed to bring, we could vote. And if you guys wanted to watch the recording before we meet, you could hear, that's when we're gonna ask them to come and present. So if anybody wants to attend, that is what I have in my calendar, September 16th.
When was that?
September 16th at 6. You could Zoom in,
That's when charter council is.
no, the 17th.
Oh, I'm in 2025.
Don't pass forward is something. Emma would be 13.
She will be 13.
Okay,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Number 16.
any questions about any of that? Okay.
Sorry, that meeting has, the architects are not gonna be there.
The architect, we're asking them to come and present their pitch. Hoping I can get a packet to them
At 6.
at 6, yeah. We are meeting, I feel like,
On the 10th for Jennifer's
okay,
presentation.
thank you, that's the
That's
other
what
one.
it was. I was like,
September.
what is
We
this?
do have another one.
Okay.
September 10th, Ms. Jennifer is going to put something together for facilities about Waldorf design and kind of what the history is, what the feel is, what the materials and what it means. So before we go into meeting with architects, so we
we on that committee have a better understanding of that. So she's gonna present that on the 10th. If anybody wants to hear.
Is that the same day of parent council?
It
Yes.
is because they are often. So they are doing
They're doing a whole different thing, but they're gonna do it in the great room.
they're doing it in the great room.
That's what I was getting at.
And
Wanna
they're
make sure
doing,
we're
they're starting it,
coordinating facilities here.
they're starting it a little earlier, I think. But
There's
we're trying to,
darn-
so if you needed to go there, then you could come here.
Yeah, something like
And
that.
is that also finance? But
Yeah.
finance is at 4:15 and we're doing it at 6.
30.
6:30, that's what it was. To give us
And
time.
parent council is gonna be somewhere in between.
5:30, I feel like. Yeah.
It's gonna be a hot night at
Yeah.
And you two are here all till the cows come home.
And we haven't planned none of this.
Yeah, nothing has been planned, no.
The finance committee, we've done that.
Yeah. So that's the plan.
Jason's like,
Will
what's
Miss
that?
Jennifer's content go into the architects?
She's putting part of that in the packet that we will send to the architects.
Yeah.
My plan is before the 10th, I want to give them time to actually come up with something. So I'm hoping this week we can really finalize that packet. But yes, part of what she's gonna present to us, she's working on to put into that. So
Yeah, 'cause that may resonate with some.
Yeah.
Oh, we've already.
I hope that all that information is found. Whatever that we gave to Jennifer.
I'm so glad you guys are part of all that and doing, I'm sitting here going in awe, like, oh my gosh.
okay. I think it's exciting. It's totally my wheelhouse. So
Nice.
okay. Moving to 5.6. Resolution.
Okay, so this was the,
Oh, sorry.
Oh, scroll.
Here's a different packet.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I don't know. Is it in here in the packet?
It is.
So maybe it's page 21.
It's this.
No.
Oh, this, okay, got it. Okay. I didn't recognize it from the title.
Right before the.
I know, the title does not match up with this either.
But it doesn't, because it's, yeah, so it's, so, we've had a, special ed position open. And, we have not been able to fill it. We do have a local, sped person who worked with us before, in Red Bluff, who's back in Chico now, and was interested in it. So, good references, that's before we done. She is a retired, teacher, and so for that, she needs the board to approve her exemption so that she can come back to work. So that's what this resolution is.
She's recently retired, it sounds like.
Yeah, very recently retired, yeah.
Exemption, what's the exemption?
The exemption allows her to, doesn't mess up her retirement, basically.
Okay.
It allows her to work without affecting her retirement.
Before the members, 180 calendar day separation for in-service days, yeah.
I thought the state had changed that. We sure need to.
Well,
Yeah.
this is the change.
What is it?
You can sign or, you
This
can,
is, you still have to get it approved. The board has to request basically, that STRS approves, the STRS does, the board has to ask for it.
I'll make a motion. I moved to approve the contract with the special ed teacher with an exemption relative to retirement.
Okay. First and second, any other discussion? Vote. Laurel, over to you.
Aye. Ryan, aye.
Tricia, aye. Okay. Moving on, 5.7.
5.7 is just Ashley, Ashley did this beautiful report of her year last year and the work she did. And I thought it was something, that we should share with the council. So, Ashley has been our school counselor, has a TPS, WebEx, and works with students. So, this is who she's been working with. You know, we have wanted group work for years and have struggled to do it. She was able to do it and get it done. So she's done small groups, she's done individual counseling, and she's sharing with her what are the major things that she has seen. The small groups, she has reached out to teachers also to get their input as to what they felt was needed, so that's also in here. And then her actual numbers are at the bottom. Staff referrals, individual sessions, small group sessions. So,
And that's for the last school year.
and that was for last year, yes. So, we're excited to have the services done, and we're excited to have the statistics.
Yeah.
The other component this year is we have so far 2 Chico State interns working in the wellness room, staffing that. So Monday through Friday, we have interns working in the wellness room in conjunction to Ashley, which is awesome, for students to be able to reset. And then we have another interviewee on Friday, so it'll be a 3rd intern if it turns out well, if it goes well.
Are they undergrad students?
Last year undergrad students for their MSW and or MFT, yeah. But licensed clinical social worker or
Yes.
yeah, that's what it is. And one is her first year in the MSW program. Does that make sense? I just wanted to add that too because I'm really excited about that.
Just out of curiosity, are there anybody else?
Yes. One I think that we said yes to one who is a male and we're interviewing another who is a male on Friday.
And you said Monday to Friday they'll be in that room?
Yeah. In the wellness room. Because they'll be staggered. So one intern will do 2 or 3 days and the other will do 2 or 3 days and we're staggering their schedules.
Anybody have any questions or anything? Ashley's report?
Job.
Yeah. The kids seem to really enjoy
If anytime you want her to come and visit and so you can speak with her directly, just let me know.
it. Okay, moving on to 5.8, attendance and behavior.
Do we have a report from? I don't see that. We have a report from.
She said she submitted it yesterday.
Well, it won't be up there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all.
You can send it to me.
It's like when you go camping, you watch the fire. Kind of different. Do you want me to speak on my part while we're looking for that? Will that mess things up?
Whoa, are you next? Are you not that?
I'm the next one. Oh, I'm still 5.7. So I can speak?
Oh, you are.
Yeah. Well,
There's
she's,
not a,
Numberless.
there's not a number there. So no, you're actually next.
I'm 5.7.
You're
You're
5.7.5.
Okay. Okay, so I have been in full, I swear, I feel like I've been busier while we were off from school than when it was because of the fire. Unfortunately, I went into full swing, full-time work mode earlier, but I loved it at the same time because I got to connect with wonderful people and I put my best foot forward and in the donations arena, learning all about that, connected with different community partners in Chico, and Butte, and Glenn counties. So that's very exciting because that also led us into our first community resource fair that we're having September 25th. So far, I have 18 community partners committed to coming and showcasing their services for free to families. And open to the public. So I'm telling everybody to spread the word to your family. It'll be in the big room. Everyone will have booths or tables and chairs that they're setting up. And it's a wide range of different organizations from the African American Family and Cultural Center in Oroville to Habitat for Humanity, Chat, Chico Body wise, Chico Holistic Wellness will be offering like free 5-minute massages in their chairs, for families. Woodstocks is donating the pizza to feed over 100 people. So I'm really excited about that. That's like the big thing on my radar right now. Let's see, we have our first parent night on September 5th with Catherine Lehman coming and teaching the Waldorf Math and Movement for parents.
When is that? Sorry.
September 5th. That will also be here. I spoke at the Region 2 Professional Learning Institute at Chico State University last month. Or no, that was this month. Wow, see. Which was really awesome. There was a good turnout, a high turnout of people wanting to learn what community schoolwork was and what I've learned thus far. So I had an opportunity to speak for an hour during that session, that Region 2 conference. And let's see, am I talking too fast?
No, you're good.
Advisory committee invitations were accepted by three different families. So we've got families and students, so a parent and a student from 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade, as well as we had a representative from BCOE who was the community lead person from the RTAC team step aside to work with a different school through BCOE, and now we have Philip James, who does the SEL, a special project at BCOE, coming in. He'll be sitting on our new advisory team, and we will be meeting here on campus on the 11th of September for a meet and greet to get everybody introduced to the work we did last year and up to speed. Student voice. We got the data back from BCOE doing those empathy interviews, where they interviewed 5th, 6th, and 8th grade students in our school to get the critical street data that we needed to know. And the findings from that show that the students would like a say in the books or types of block lessons that we're choosing for them to be studying. And currently I've been communicating with the Susan's going to be communicating with the teachers, and I'm going to further that data in surveying the students to find out exactly what it is they are wanting, not just having some broad statements. We want to know, get more detailed
The
information.
specific statements that they wanted, so there's two statements.
Yeah.
One was that they wanted stuff, books that they could reflect more on their own selves. Then we had another student say how this one particular book really helped them. So to do that, so the question is, yes, we're doing it. So the answer is, yeah, we're doing it, but not to the point where all of the students feel it. So how do we we need to ask more questions. So that's what we're going to work on the student data is. So what are the deeper questions we need to ask about what they're looking for in analysis?
And BCOE got back to me today, and they actually said that they were wanting to do a follow-up interview, so we might integrate that with that in that process. And let's see.
I found it right, I sent it to you.
I also had
Email, yeah. They emailed it to you.
I also arranged for Spencer Gorin from Healthy Play. He came and did a PD day for the whole team, the entire staff at the school, beginning of August. That went extremely well. The classroom, teachers, and communities, and every day are practicing Healthy Play. And I did it today with the 8th grade students, and Miss Madera saw it help like immediately in action. And the feedback from the staff, from the teacher and the students today was that they really liked interacting. The students that usually feel like left out or alone felt like they were liked by everybody. That was one student's feedback today. And the educator explained to me that it set the tone for the rest of the day. That it was very, very good to see everybody interacting, playing, having fun, and just utilizing those skills of why are we doing this? What's the most important thing for play is we're having fun. And who are the most important in that are the people. And that really seemed to resonate with those kids. The NorCal Anti-Racism Coalition meetings are resuming on the 17th, and they are moving to Valley Oaks because the church that they were doing it at is being renovated. Okay. Anyways, I also wanted to say that I had put out a public event tracking sheet that says these are the events that I'm planning to go to and attend and have a booth that represent the school. Like, I've got one at Techo Chico for the KZFR thing at the Nature Center next month. We have a booth planned for that. One for Christmas time downtown and at the Thursday markets. So that will be starting, but I would love any input, feedback, emails, send them my way. If you guys have events or hear of anything that you think the school should be at and representing, because I'll stop what I'm doing and do it.
Thank you. When you say Thursdays, are going to be there consistently?
I'm going.
Oh.
For the parent night, what time is that?
I think it said 5, right?
That second grade is having their class meeting.
Yes, they
Do you have a second grader in that? Oh.
third grade was today, that's why it's today. It's hard to schedule.
Yeah. Okay, anybody have any questions? Thanks, Mary, that was a lot. Yeah. Okay, so now we're at 5.8, attendance behavior. And we do have some.
So this is from Amanda, I'll just go ahead and read it if that's okay. We are so excited about Blue Oak's attendance program last year that we have some great things in store for this year. Last year's school-wide attendance was 91%, and we are optimistic that we will surpass that this year. Attendance rallied included second week of school for 1st through 5th grade and 6th through 8th grades. We will be promoting school-wide attendance as well as sharing in our September attendance awareness plan. September equals attendance awareness month, weekly school spirit days on Thursdays around attendance theme, classroom monthly board unveils at the end of the month. So we have a board where it lists individual classroom attendance posters that are updated daily by 9:30 a.m. to show the day's classroom attendance. If you've been by the classroom, you'll have seen that. And staff daily attendance board is hanging in front office hallway. That is updated daily with staff attendance percentages. Also,
I do.
is
I love it.
staff being here is important too. Phone calls going out to students who have missed 2 consecutive days in a row with no call-in. Attendance letters created in Aries so that teachers and parents can access the letter digitally as well as automatically created, so it saves time for the attendance team. And then monthly attendance plans, please see attached. So these are the activities to support and keep us up on our awareness each month on attendance.
So if they reach a certain, that's a class thing or individual thing? Like you get invited if you, as an individual?
Did it say class?
I don't know.
I think
That's
it's
what I
a
was
class.
wondering.
Oh, students,
Okay.
95%.
Okay.
Is this meant to be Clarion?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
That we're not, if there isn't there, we'll still have.
It'll still happen.
It's still gotta be Clarion.
Yeah, that's certainly brand, but yeah.
Okay, so again, keeping attendance on our, at the forefront of our thought. And there is a lot of excitement about it all. It's competitiveness.
Yeah.
What, so-and-so's in here, and so we don't have 100%? You know,
Yeah.
so they're really bringing. And did we have one on behavior? There it is, okay. Our new 24-25 behavior team has been formed, and we met for the first time last week. The team is comprised of the following members: Amanda Hurd, Kelly Chetler, Joe Firm, and Greg Madera. We discussed our plan for the school year and how our meeting will be formatted. Weekly, we will review level 2 and level 3 behavior referrals to determine trends and identify students that are on our radar. That means that they are increasing or having a consistent number of occurrences. This is the first year we've really focused on the minor referrals. Mostly we've kept track of the major ones. We know what the minor referrals are, but we haven't put them into the behavior team's awareness. And so Amanda and I talked about that to be more preventative.
Is this behavior team always been a thing?
Yeah.
Like there's always okay.
It's started very informally. We just ended up meeting once a week, that they were getting into talking. And so over the last 2 years, we've made more of a formal team. So create a plan for healthy play on the playground during lunch recess. And Karen spoke to that. Determine how facilitated goals to decrease negative students' behaviors on the playground with guided intentional play. Waldorf believes in free play and that building of imagination. So it wouldn't take all of the students, but it would give the opportunity to some of the students to be able to play an organized game, which helps sometimes just with social struggles. They're in a signature. So
Susan, you know where I was, and it was kind of drama and melees and riots going on in the playground. And we were able to really deal with pretty much every bit of that. And maybe you and I don't want to take the time in the meeting, but you and I could talk maybe on the way home, or, I think our strategies were really effective and would fit the Waldorf model. I'll share that with you.
That's great. So, the health play, Karen expressed some of it. It's really designed to build empathy and to change the thought process, not to eliminate competition, because that's not a thing, but to make it more of holistic, I guess would be the word for it, that it focuses on, if somebody gets hurt, people care for that person who gets hurt.
You have to
Get in an
stay with
argument.
that person.
Yeah. If two people get in an argument about a rule being broken, then you have to sit out of the game while they're having that argument, so everybody else gets to go along. So it's those kind of rules that, well, if you want to play and you want to have fun, then you're not going to have an argument. It's that sort of thing, rather than everybody stopping and listening to the argument.
Mm-hmm.
So it's thinking in terms of that, how we use play to develop good, compassionate, empathetic individuals. So
I also want to give you an example. There was double Simon Says, for instance. So there's no loser. So if you so-called failed, or jumped when Simon didn't say jump, instead of being out for the game, you're now in the simultaneous other group that's still playing. So you just go back and forth. Nobody's losing, so to speak. Which they spoke to it today. They were like, that's awesome, and it really helps with the community or relationship building amongst the group.
yes, so we're liking healthy play right now. If you can't hear that in our presentation. Strengthening student connections with relationships to staff around the building. So in looking at a level 2 referral, for example, looking around what was happening around them. Positive behavior office referral murals, they're looking at painting 2 trees in the great room, and then they can decorate a leaf and put it up on a tree, depending on what that is. So we've had paper trees up before. They want to actually paint the tree. And if you see the one in my office, I think that's kind of the sample, without the leaves on it, just the branches and the but the leaves on it. Or an acorn. The leaf or an acorn to write their name and decorate it. And then attach it to the wall and fill the tree, and have a new tree about what good that our students are doing. And then collaboration with our new SEL program, students. So we've started SEL the last couple of weeks, listened to it in a couple of classrooms, going really well. And it is fitting really well with healthy play. So they'll do the SEL and then they'll go do healthy play. And so they're already thinking about good relationships before they go play. And so it seems to be really strengthening the SEL program. And then we have increased our the amount of time that upper grades have in handwork, which wasn't like times before. So they got more time, but she is also working on the SEL program through, we're calling it SEL through handwork, which is a very, very real little program, which is very good. So I was in and listened to her for a while today, and the kids are loving it. And they have their own classroom now. They used to share a classroom with lower grades, and now they have their own, and they seem to be appreciating it. That's where we are on behavior and attendance.
Sounds great.
And then moving forward, we'll have like, right now, obviously, we're just starting, so we have like the stats. We're gonna do that.
Yeah, we're talking about how to do that. It felt like almost we give you too much raw information, and then you keep asking us questions about it, and we're like, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
So I'm wanting to be able to bundle the information. For example, we determined over the summer, went through last year's, and determined we have about 5 students that really need heavy attention. So we're starting, part of the behavior team is looking at those students who had a lot of referrals. And there was a really clear, like, top 5, and then a big drop. So we're like, okay, these are the top 5 that we're going to. And that's part of what we're doing. So to be able to capture that data in a way that we can show what we're doing about the data, and not just here's the data. One of the things, for example, we had our minor referrals. Some teachers reporting everything the student did, whether or not they reported it to parents, and other people were only putting things that they reported to parents. So the data was clean if you were getting it anywhere. So trying to do some of that is to make sure our data is consistent. And then this will be our 2nd year of using the employee handbook, because that was another thing that was difficult, is we changed the way we collected data. Educators handbook, thank you. Thank you. We changed the way we were collecting data, and so it was hard to go back and compare to the year before, even though we wanted to try. It was like, how do we do this? So that's some learning as far as how we're processing it.
Did you say you're able to save the things that were recorded last year?
Yes.
Okay, good, someone, because it's clean from our site.
You can change to last year.
Like a year.
With them.
Any questions?
So what can we expect to see on this topic going forward?
We are looking into data as to how to present it to you. So you will probably have something to do with our high need students that specifies what we're doing with them, behavior plans and so forth. And then the minor and office referrals also. But I want it to be more, so I'm hesitating because we really haven't had a conversation yet. But I want it to be more collected in the SWIFT data process. SWIFT is a system attached to PBIS that really talks about like the whys and wheres. So, she's talking about, for example, the playground, what they're going to do about that. That's because often our referrals come in from the playground or right after the playground. They come back in the school and they have issues. So we're looking at the wheres, not just the numbers, flat numbers, which is what you got last year, but like, okay, this is happening here, and so this is what we're going to do. And this is where, and my discussion with the staff is on a level of, we have a very incident-based system that we're tracking things now. child does this, they get in trouble. Child does this, they get in more trouble. And what in discussions and reality is, it's a relationship thing. Because the teacher is sending the parent, or sending the note to the parent or to the front office after it's happened a few times. And so that's a relationship piece. And then if we're not really hearing the whole relationship piece, then we may not be solving the problem. So that's the other piece, is how are we in the behavior team to work on? How are we actually talking about relationship and not often giving the teacher an answer based on an incident? The teacher's like, but, wait a second. And we're like, but we didn't know. So, really working on that, broadening the behavior work to be relationship based. And so that'll take that's taking some change in all of our thinking a little bit, but that's, so hopefully in what we give you, it will give you more of a broad base of what we're doing. So I don't have an answer, what are we gonna give you yet? I have an answer that what we gave you last year wasn't clear enough. And we wanna make sure we show you actionable things that we're doing rather than just a list of numbers.
I think too that sometimes care should be taken on what actually needs to go home. And of course, parents need to know and have a right to know. But after having a parent come in and wanting me to punish their kid for not doing the dishes and the night before, it really made me think about, that's not only not my job, but it's not healthy for the child to start with, this is what's gonna happen in this environment because what happened there. And some parents really need to know and want to know, but I think we need to be careful about what we report to parents. I mean, if they just end up thinking their kid misbehaves every day, that's not necessarily fostering a positive relationship between the parent and child and the parent and the school.
There was some reading I did last year that talked about the fact that two negative reports home begins to break the relationship between the school and the parents. So
Yeah.
let's do that carefully when we're doing it. Doesn't mean we don't do it, but it's just another piece. All of these things are pieces and factors into how we address behavior in the classroom.
I wonder what it would be like to ask parents, and I would think it would vary from parent to parent, but what they feel like they need to know or would like to have reported, because, I just think some thought should go into it, which I'm sure happens here, but for some parents, it's just this onslaught of negative, whether it's perceived that way.
I would say, just from my perspective, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong or not, like if I was gonna say the data that would be most useful for me or us, or like we need to see high level, we don't need the nitty-gritty, right? So for me, it would be not by class, because we don't need to know the class. We can color code them, or we can ABC them, and they don't have to be first, second, put in whatever order you want. And then it's, how many minor, how many major each month. And then as a correlating number to me, I want to know, what is the ebb and flow of that class? Is there more kids leaving that class, like leaving certain classes than other, and then those classes the referral is higher? Just when we're looking at our enrollment and attendance in those classes, like is that affecting that class size dropping? And then, so that would be one piece. And the other, I think what you said is really valuable as far as where is it happening, right? So saying, like, here's the ABC or color code of classes. Like, is it playground or right after playground? Is it afternoon? Is it, like, what are those key things that you guys are seeing? For me, like, those are the data points.
Does the educator handbook break that down? Because I know you enter the time of day, or
But not like
what was happening.
activity.
Yes, you enter what was happening.
Okay.
If it was main lesson or
Okay.
so kindergarten, I asked them just to add an other because we don't
Do those.
all
Yes.
so there's a place where you enter the things that are happening, and I don't know if the educator handbook compiles that for
You should forward that.
Oh, yes, like, so I don't know what are,
benefits of
what are other board members' thoughts on like data that we feel like would be, I agree, last year, we didn't have like a, it wasn't the same thing, but. And I know we have many discussions about it, so.
Yeah. Well, I heard like on our retreat that we had too, maybe we should not be so restricted. Here's the solution we want to see. I mean, the more clearly defined questions that we wanted to answer.
Mhm.
However, you just, whatever your solution, your design solution is to that question, figure that out too. But it does feel like our question has essentially always been, is behavior getting better or worse?
Yeah.
And whatever, and this is nice to know, but whatever solutions you're taking with, how do you know that it is being effective? And so that's why I think we all keep up to the numbers, because that's the track.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it was what sounds like a lot of very good work, a list of very good work every month, that would not answer that question, right? We see that you're doing stuff, we don't see that you're measuring to see if it's having any effect. So that's, again, why the numbers, even raw numbers, get closer to answering your question. It sounds like a really important and secondary question I would answer is, in what way can you tell, behavior is affecting churn, or what with attrition?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, are we losing families in high behavior rooms or not? That's the secondary question you're saying there. So if those were the two questions, maybe on third quarter, but what could your solutions be to answer those two questions and to keep us informed of those two questions?
I do think we don't even, and Tricia, we don't even know if that's the reason.
Absolutely, yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
So it, and sometimes there's an assumption, and then they're like, that wasn't at the home, we
Yeah.
actually have to move to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that maybe the churn is affected by that is reported to.
Yeah.
And there is some of that areas.
Yes.
Along with the exit interviews, which will also, when we gather that data, that will also be a good one.
Yeah.
Donna, what did you guys have? You look like you had something.
Is big news in May is reminding me that we do know that students come here because of those experiences in other schools also. Or that says that we have a nurturing environment. And so children that have struggled in their schools come here for that nurturing.
So you end up with behavioral kids coming in with behavioral issues, yeah, that's pretty typical for charters. Yeah.
And have a good percentage of turnaround of those kids too. So it's not like you count they're bad and they leave again. Or count they're bad and somebody else leaves. It's,
And those
you
parents
see
have been
those,
bad experiences too.
yeah, and it takes 3 months.
I liked what you had to say about tracking frequent flyers.
Tony, can you
But-
speak just a little bit louder?
Yeah, sure. You didn't call them frequent flyers, I translated.
Player students, yes.
The shorthand we used when I was in the classroom was frequent flyers. And I think some of what we're wanting to capture is if we look at what the initial group is, how many of those kids come out of the repeat high referral rate, and how many kids are moving into the high referral rate. That may kind of give us the global view of behavior we want, especially if we pair that with location of where the incidents are occurring. Because we may have high need students who it's always a transition. And there may be some high need students that is always within the classroom. I don't think that's as likely as it's always a transition.
I'm not gonna say what I'm thinking because I'll give you my belief and not my factuals. So I
Okay.
really want to give my factuals. That is part of what Amanda and I looked at.
Okay.
Who are the students ending last year that throughout the year last year had the highest, had higher needs, and we saw them. And this clearly they were fun. We kept asking for that information. I was like, oh, here's this 5, and then it drops way down, and there are more kids that have more problems, but nobody at this rate. And so I think that, and how that student, or 5 students, affects the classes they're in is very different than the rest. That they get occasionally in trouble. They get, it's like, if that goes away, it's often that intensity of that high need. So how are we dealing with that in order to have a good educational experience?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking exactly, is that as those high need students get the support that they need to be successful, everything kind of calms down.
How are they moving out of that?
One of the things we did, and to get it, I'm saying we, my 8 and 9, working with extremely challenging kids, we would, I think we used to even call it like 3 hits or something. And we made an effort to have a positive connection regarding the child at least 3 times. It was kind of a sweet spot where you just dump things on answering machines, just want to let you know that Ryan, blah, blah, blah today. And then we found that when we had to call and say we have an issue, or the parents' perception of it was so different, and particularly for kids who had really extreme behaviors where they had this tape in their head of all the negative things they'd ever heard. So that's a lot of work. It was a lot of work, but
Is that,
we called it 3 hits.
yeah, there's a ratio, 5-to-1 ratio. It's for every negative thing, you say 5 positive.
Yeah.
And it helps if you say the 5 positives first.
Yes.
Right. The best we could do was 3.
Yeah.
And these were bad kids.
Yeah.
Well, they were.
They were just good.
So I think, I guess we're excited to see still numbers.
And we, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, I would like those questions continuously
I think they're.
in whatever way that you see fit.
And I think we're already gonna be in a better position because you're setting up the parameters beforehand.
Yeah.
And so we can track the same data.
Yeah.
Across the year for the year.
Yeah, that was a lot, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we'll have data from last year, hopefully, to compare. Like, are we in the same, well, but they can go back and pull it, right?
We can
The
pull
same
the
software,
choice.
yeah.
The data,
Yeah.
and what I'm saying is it wasn't consistently.
Yeah.
So that's another
Yes.
part of the work of the school, is to get that consistent work done.
Yeah.
So all the teachers are reporting the same sort of information in the same way. And it's also interesting.
Have you kind of put it in checklist form where it's super quick and less narrative for teachers?
It is, but then it's not very, then you have this checklist,
Sure.
it's like,
Yeah, maybe you need to
so,
expand the
so,
checklist.
so did such and such, which was not a very good thing. We talked with parents, well, we actually did quite a bit more than talking to them, so it's sometimes having those checklists limit what we actually can say about what we're doing, so we're working on that a little bit, so, it's never just calling home, there's always more that goes into it.
But you
There's
can
been
standardize your form, but
respond.
kids are not standardized. And so
There you go.
once you
That's
create a
absolutely
form, a kid is gonna do
Mhm.
something that doesn't fit
I
your
don't
form.
know if I agree with that completely. It was a way that we were able to gather data.
true.
And it was a pretty nuanced checklist. It
Yeah.
wasn't,
But then you're not having to read everything all the time and
well, narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah. For teachers, the narrative is the
time consuming.
time consuming, yeah.
The tricky part is compiling it for educator handbook and then getting that information to the parents. It's not like when we had the paper, it was just a carbon copy and it was handwritten, it felt kind of personal.
We never handed checklists to parents.
No, it was not,
Yeah.
I'm just saying the report was automatically a duplicate for the family. But now you have to write a separate letter, you can copy and paste what was in the educator handbook, but it
Can't
doesn't all
send it
come
from
through.
there.
And it comes through in tiny font, like I never do it, and it's very time consuming to communicate with the families.
So it's like a drop down for the student name, class, what type of behavior it was, and then the educators write a narrative.
It is a number that it doesn't have an option just for whatever needs to be, like, this is the parent version, and it gets into, then you have to put it into parent square, right? And send it out separately. So,
Can I just say something really quick about that? There is an option to print a letter to parents.
Is that Sarah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can print out your report, but it comes out in, like, I don't know, it comes out in like size 4 font. And it's, like, it just looks very technical. It doesn't look like a letter to the family. And it's,
Your concern is really the way it's perceived from the parents' point of view. It feels very technical. Like, not that we
not
can't do it, it's just that
clinical,
it's like,
and-
yeah. So, just,
I would just agree with you, like, I think that we can all probably agree that high fidelity data may not be achievable at all. So like, don't let perfect be the enemy of good here, like, compare last year. It's fuzzy, it'll totally be fuzzy in this.
Humans are fuzzy.
Yeah, it won't be an accurate comparison.
but it gives us something.
Yeah.
thank you for accepting
Yeah.
Yeah.
lack of perfection.
Yeah.
You will never achieve it, so stop trying.
Keep trying.
Yeah.
I keep trying. All right.
Okay, so I think we're good on attendance and behavior for now?
So,
Okay, let's move to 5.9, approval of unaudited actuals.
All right, Annie, are you still
Annie's not
here?
here.
Oh, did she
Annie's had to log off,
Oh,
so, sorry. She said my presentation
Not
is the
prepared to go over.
unaudited actual report results and change from the July presentation, and the education production account spending is also in the presentation for council approval.
so, so this is my brief then to you, and I'm sorry that we didn't, move things around so Annie could remember that next time, so she could be here earlier. You got most of it in July. So this is a cleaner view, more information, and about, last year's budget, there was a reduction in the amount we are over by about 20,000, so we're actually a little bit better than we were. And this is the reality of school funding. The budget really won't be, the last year's actuals really won't be totally complete until October, because it's just, you close in June, you start getting the data together in July, and it's due to be finished in September. Even that one isn't actually correct, because we're paying here in the past. So what this is what they required to have done is by September 15th. Because of the timing of our board meetings, we're earlier than most, but this is what is compiled, and it's what now has been shared with our auditors. That's really the most important thing that's going on right now, is we're working on completing their audits, and they need these in order to audit. So these are unaudited actuals, like I said, very close to what was put together in July. And I'm
Do you
sorry,
change auditors now and then?
we have not changed the audit business, but we change the auditors within the business every couple of years.
I know it's a recommendation. Get different eyes on it.
So they have different audit teams.
Yeah.
So we've switched audit teams several times. And we do have it on the agenda to start to look at a different auditor. I think I started talking about that last fall, we need to do that this year. That is due in
December,
December.
January.
It's actually due in January to the county office. So Tricia, I'm not sure I can answer any of your questions. But you can ask.
So the net increase and decrease that I saw here is the 255, but on the one that comes from charter impact, it's like 392. I was just wondering if those were the same numbers. is on like when we get like the year-to-date one, right? Like our total like deficit for the year, but then on that.
For last year.
Yeah, this is for last school year, this is ending in June, and then, this one, the only number is like this net increase, decrease fund, but as it says fund balance, I was trying to look for like similar numbers on those two, and I wasn't finding them.
Those would be better questions for.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, discuss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the finance committee did not see this yet, 'cause it wasn't ready.
Yeah.
So,
Was ready to.
yeah, in the last week.
Have you noticed the nearest restroom out that way?
Probably straight
Is that
down
the
the admin hall.
So we need to approve,
Yeah, the actual.
Oh, we should. So,
like how many you guys because we didn't see them. I haven't talked to anybody about them, so. What I was talking about is on page 4 of that, item E is that in bold, it says net increase, decrease in fund balance. I was trying to see where it said, like this is, I always look at, what's the total income, what's total expenses, those numbers look similar to what the budgets, and as our net, at the end, similar instead of looking at every single number.
Yeah.
And I couldn't make sense of, like, none of those numbers, what they were and what they matched, so that's why I was trying to put in. But I think it's just a totally different format, so that's fine. Like this one has like liabilities in it, whereas like our income and expenses doesn't have that. Like it's like a balance sheet and we just have a statement behind.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so.
It's this, so we don't generally use this format to
Yeah.
explain things because it's not very
Yeah.
easy to
Yeah.
understand. This is the format that's expected by the state,
Yeah.
so that's why it's in this format. For you.
So I'll make a motion to approve the unaudited actuals for 23-24 school year.
I'll send it.
We need to wait for all. We do. Yeah. Total expenses. I look at the year-to-date ending in June, 4.5 million. Total expenditures on here is 4.579. So that's what that number is. Yeah, Laurel, I made a motion to approve the unaudited actuals, Ryan second, so now we're at further discussion or questions. And if it passes, we'll go for a vote.
Laura, aye.
Brian,
Trisha, aye. Okay. Moving to 5.10. Educator, EPA final approval education protection account. I don't have it.
is this in a different account yet, or is there nothing to like?
I don't know. I don't have, I'm thinking there's nothing we have. The starting packet 2 is the parent handbook.
Oh, okay.
Unless it's just not.
So, just a reminder for those who haven't been here before, the EPA is something that is actually a piece of the ADA that we collect. At some point when they were first going to LCFF, they decided they needed an education protection account to assure that we got what we're supposed to get, and that needed to be approved every year by the board. So we are putting it forward for you to approve by the board, and it will be posted on the website after it's approved. It's one of those things that, from my perspective, is sort of a waste, because it was very important in 2005 when we were going through a lot of stuff and changing some things, and now it's still here, and we're approving it every year, but it's just part of the money that we earn through ADA anyway. So it's, I don't really know
I
how it
don't
works.
know that Annie even really sent me anything specific to that, so I just have the unaudited actuals.
So
is
we'll
it,
have to skip that if they don't have to see.
Yeah,
Have them approve something that they don't. And I thought that we covered it already in July,
I thought so too.
so.
I don't remember it being on the July.
Um,
Maybe.
I have July up here. Annie has combined, in the June report, that she has combined UAR and final EPA in June was approved.
Okay, so that's
So
good.
it's our, yeah,
In June,
this is
okay.
the report that she put forward.
She just was sharing.
For August 26th, actually, she sent this. But it's a June report. It's the June report.
Okay,
So
we know what you're.
it's not,
It was part of like the charter impact report.
yeah, it was part of the, it's the, she said it's June 2024. Let me see if I can download it and send it to Ryan so you can look at it. It was discussed in June.
It's just like saying, here's $2,000 that we get. That's what it includes. Steps. Add. So here's what we get for 4 million, here's 30,000 that. Using that to pay step centers. It's,
They have.
yeah. Well, we allocated, but we just usually allocate it to something that's big enough to cover it. So we don't personally.
It's supposed to.
It does. Show you where it is. So I go to, back to the boundary school. Reports and policies. That's where I'm
Never open it.
You're gonna pull it up. And
Yeah,
be
I'm
like,
trying to pull it up.
Oh, yeah.
There
now
we
know what
are.
you're talking about.
Okay, finally, got it.
Okay.
Sending it, Ryan.
Okay.
It's.
Oh,
So am I looking for something?
Looking for.
Nope, we just passed it over. There it is.
What? Okay.
God, it's just a summary of, yes. I do remember this time, see, I told you, I should pull it up.
It just means that they decided to put it in that instance.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember which meeting we went, but we did see this one. I just remember if we recommended it to the board or if we had just approved it.
Why don't we just approve
Yeah,
it? Why don't you
just to make
approve
sure.
it?
Yes,
I move that we approve.
okay,
Second.
perfect. Any further discussion? Go for a vote.
Aye.
Ryan,
Donna, aye, Patricia, aye. Okay. 5.11.
Who seconded? Who seconded on that?
Brian,
Right, Brian seconded.
right?
Sure.
Will I second?
I thought
I
Laura
thought I
did.
seconded.
You first, Laurel
Oh,
second.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, 5.11. Parent handbook, so this is the new handbook. Did
The new handbook for this year,
anything major change?
anything major change?
I wasn't in that one.
There were a few changes. I'm afraid I didn't.
I rephrased the parent engagement.
Okay. I skimmed through it, but
We told students they could wear shoes with lights on them. It used to be something they could do. They are enjoying that.
yeah,
Which is thicker or what?
shoes with like,
You know, shoes have lights in them,
Oh,
you know, yeah. So we had a can't wear shoes with lights. Sorry, brought up, do we really have to tap that? See what happens. So we have about 3 kids with lights in their shoes.
sometimes you gotta hit your one.
Oh, yeah, they're just breaking that rule.
Yeah.
Anyway.
yeah, exactly.
But it's not a rule.
So we just decided if they're gonna break it, we just will eliminate it. So-
Okay, so we just need approval to approve the handbook for this school year. I will make a motion to approve the parent handbook for 2024.
One second.
Okay. Any discussion, comments? Okay.
Aye.
Ryan,
You're like on it.
Somebody else is better.
Don, Patricia.
the sign says sit here, I don't know what to.
Okay. 5.12, approve contracts. So some of these we looked at finance,
I think you have looked at most of them in finance.
the
This is
first
the-
two for sure.
Yeah, this is the one we talked about with the rest of partners, you talked about earlier about helping us basically the nutritionist and her work, which helps us make sure we're doing the right things, and then also, you
Did she
know,
also, sorry, did she also work toward food choices that kids eat?
yes.
Healthy, but palatable.
Yeah, and as we attempt to work towards even healthier food choices, the use of a nutritionist is gonna be great.
And it's in our health.
Oh, it's not a, it's a person, it's not a.
It's a
Program?
company,
So it's a company and then we have it assigned, somebody's assigned to us as a nutritionist.
Yeah, I think it's a software, I mean, they kind of use something, I think, to say we're meeting the requirements.
They're bringing it in.
But we have a person.
yes, we have a person working with the computer.
Oh, man.
And it's getting late,
And it was around 7
about 7,000, a
Right.
little over 7,000.
for this,
Not,
and it will be an annual,
it will be an annual,
thing.
assuming, we'll look at it annually.
but if she bills hourly, so hopefully if we
Just
get
for
us,
the work she does.
yeah, a good menu set up, then we won't be as high every year. Yeah.
And we still did a lot of the work by implementing it last year, but we had a meeting last week with a team and really going over like what we have to do every month. There's a list of things we have to do every month. But, so we're still sort of, this was something that was dumped on us, and we cleaned up the dump, and now we're really trying to spread the wealth and get it more consistent, and the nutritionists will help with that. So we thank you. And it is definitely paying its bills, so
It's not costing us because
It's not
the
costing
food program is paying for it.
Yeah.
it is actually
Okay.
self-sustaining.
Yes, that program is.
So the nutrition coach covers this. And most of the things that we support.
Was it a fixed cost and she billed hourly? Was it 7,000 plus hourly?
I think that's the estimate.
Correct.
Oh,
So
it's
like
not
how many
7,000.
hours she thinks it will take.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's kind of approved for up to.
Yeah. So we need a motion to approve the contract, yeah.
I move to approve the Nourish contract consulting service up to $7,000.
I don't think we have to do it up to. I mean, that's just what their estimate is, but
Okay,
she'll bill hourly.
okay.
I'll second it. 72.
Okay, first and a second, any other discussion? Okay, let's go for the vote.
Aye.
Ryan,
Tricia, aye. But it makes me, we bring some excitement over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll take a day off and decompress.
To the Philadelphia insurance proposal.
That's it.
It is the same packet,
Oh,
page
okay.
11, yeah.
And, sorry, just one, it looks like capped at 4 hours a month. So that's how they,
Yeah.
So
They
you're approved for the maximum.
Yeah. Thank you.
This is the insurance.
Yeah.
Did this go up substantially compared to last year?
Looks at a variety of options for us. This is what they have come up.
Part of what we looked at as finances, the district recommended having a cyber insurance policy. This already has some of that included, right, is what we found, instead of we were looking at having a separate policy, which would probably be another expense, but this does include some of that in there. The other additional coverage would have just been for a higher amount of coverage for this number. So this also comes from finance. I don't feel like it went up a lot from last year because it's liability, not like property. It's much.
Cyber policy, cyber policy with like systems get hacked. Kind of.
Yeah. So it has a lower end cyber security in it, but the other one was hundreds of dollars. So. Yeah, this one, yeah. So we were like, we'll take that.
Yeah, sure.
Is there anything else on that? But it's mainly your liability. We've been with this company for a while. We just talked about shopping around a little bit. Susan brought up that there are some other schools that went with other carriers. They switched, but then partway through, they gave them like an additional supplemental bill.
Yeah, it's when the law changed on sexual harassment. Yeah, ours went up a little bit, but Philadelphia, others went up like about 20%.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I've been really feeling like this is
Yeah.
the same level of coverage that other people have.
Well, it's good you did a comparison.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we have had this one for a few years now, and I haven't done a lot of research to look for others, simply because that's what other charters have told me, is they spend on appropriate.
So we need approval for this policy.
Like just tangential question. So we would expect this policy to have some sort of change within education.
Yeah.
Part of the, needs to be part of this conversation.
Well, I think that's part of our, like, this is how much it's gonna cost.
Yeah.
When we're going into that, for sure, yeah. So, I've heard the good news is on this side of for insurance.
Oh, yeah. Just barely.
I live on the other side, which I heard is not so good.
I wonder how much insurance goes up for a 2-story building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Ben,
Are you entertaining the motion?
Yeah.
I move to approve the Philadelphia Insurance Company cost.
Second? Okay, first and a second, any other discussion?
Brian,
Me too.
Donna, aye.
Trisha, aye. Okay. 5.12.3, COVID policy update.
So we realized, over the past few months, the COVID policy or the requirement of it used to have to do with being out for how much time and payroll issues and so on. And so over the last year, all of that went away, really, fall of last year. And it just became, they treat it just like any other, if you have a fever, you stay home for 24 hours, rather than doing the work of assuring that there's no transfer of that disease. It's like, get your shot, go to work, if you have a fever, stay home, come back to work the next day. There's no extended leave for that anymore. And so we still have the policy in our list of the expanded leave, so people would get that extra days if they got COVID. So what I'm proposing is that we just remove the COVID policy and have COVID covered. And I believe it is in your parent handbook as one of the things, you stay home if you have a fever, stay home and use that. So.
And so do we have to, because this is a policy, because we're just removing it, we have to do it twice, or no?
No,
Because we're just removing it,
yeah.
okay, so.
Your original, so does that just?
Yes, it's in packet 4,
I think you were quiet.
on
Yeah.
page 22.
How are you?
That's the end of the
Fast
insurance.
forward.
Keep going down. That's the end of the insurance policy. I couldn't get it all in one scan. Yeah.
21. No, 22, you're right, you scrolled up.
Oh, look.
Right there.
Oh,
There it is.
There's our
I'm
personal.
not looking at the numbers.
And we should all be very grateful to Maggie for all of the scanning she does.
Yeah. Okay, so we need a motion to remove the COVID policy from our policies.
Good.
Okay. Okay,
I said,
perfect. Any
isn't it crazy after all we went through?
Okay,
No, it's
just get rid of
over.
it. Not
No
really.
deal.
Now when you look at everything else that happens, it's not that crazy.
Whatever.
Any further discussion? Okay, vote.
Well,
Donna, aye. Trisha, aye.
wow.
It is. How many hours you think we talked about COVID in our life?
Oh my gosh.
More than anything else. More than anything.
Text in the middle of the night.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. That was one of those things. That, the fire and the that, it was like, okay, this is,
yeah.
10 o'clock at night on a Saturday.
That's 2 numbers. From stress. I cracked one of the subs with a root canal, the other one.
Wow.
Collateral damage.
Yeah.
I was so stressed out
Unintended
about it, it was
consequences.
insane.
Okay.
I read for it.
Right.
5.12.4, sick leave rollover.
We're almost there.
Yeah, so this one, this is primarily the certified employees are allotted 80 hours of sick leave. I think is, okay, part-time are allotted 40 hours, 5 days. Where is it that what am I reading?
Certified employees are allotted 80 hours for sick leave at the beginning of the year, that one.
So, yes, so what this is we give,
Certified, you're going as
Certificate.
Certifiable.
It's
Certifiable.
So the change we're looking at, this one, Maggie, I don't know whether I can see it. We had, when this policy was written, we said we would roll over a maximum of 10 days per year, which is what a certificate employee earns. And we have never we've never done that. What we've done is whatever they earn, they roll over.
Whatever
We
they
just-
didn't use, you
Yeah,
go over all of it.
so we have, somebody who has 6 weeks of pregnancy leave and they get paid for the whole thing. Well, that's a good thing. We don't want to go away from that. So we wanted to change the policy to match what we were actually is.
So they won't lose it.
They don't lose it if they
It
roll
rolls
over.
over.
It rolls over to it. So, and then, for.
And if they
employees-
exhaust, they can be on medical leave
Right,
just without being paid.
Yeah.
30 days.
right.
Okay.
So it just means that they don't ever lose it. So the way this is written, it would be like you earn 10 and that's all you can.
Yeah.
Whereas now we can say you can earn 50 days if you go for 5 years from now.
Yeah, and when you can only earn 10, it forces people to, I'm gonna take it off. anyway.
Yeah, so putting a
You
little on
can't
that
blame them, yeah.
doesn't make any sense. So it's Maggie and I were reading through the employee handbook this year. Let's
That's a
let's
great.
bring this back and fix this. So that's what this is.
Okay, so where does it say that they don't use it?
They don't know.
That they don't lose
Well,
their,
it doesn't
oh,
say.
here. It's accrued.
Well, this is the old one, right?
No, this is the new one.
Oh.
So what it says is full-time classified employees are allotted 80 hours of sick leave at the beginning of each year. Part-time employees are allotted 40, and this is according to the new labor code
Yeah.
that came about.
Yeah.
And it just, we wanted to be specific about the accrual for part-time classifieds and the front load for full-time.
So we kind of just took it out, it just doesn't
Yeah,
say
so
it
it's
anymore.
not-
It doesn't, it's just not
Okay,
even
perfect.
a thing.
In there.
It says
Okay.
it says in here, it rolls forward from year to year. I just am trying to find the
Something
sense.
about 90 days.
That's
When
a,
they use paid.
that's a new
Oh,
employee.
here,
You
these
won't
are
carry over
for
from year
yeah.
to year.
It carries
Oh,
over from year to
90
year. I
days.
know, it said that somewhere and I'm like, why can't I find it?
Yeah, fourth line down in the second paragraph.
Okay,
So we need a motion to approve this. I'll make a motion to approve it. Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, Laurel, it's all you.
Laura,
Right,
Donna, Tricia, aye. Okay. Okay, hold on, guys, we have one more item. 6, administration. 6.1, I feel like you've given us everything.
I think I've given you a lot. You have the report.
We do?
I don't know, I
No.
wrote it today. So you don't
no,
have
I
it.
don't have it.
Okay,
If you sent it to me, then I can send it to Ryan.
I did copy.
Okay.
So a lot of what it says, I'll just start talking. A lot of what it says, you already know, like in service, certainly the rose ceremony was very lovely. You all should come sometime. It lists the Harvest Festival date for you to put on your calendar.
When is
It
that?
is October 18th.
October what?
18th. So love to see you all there.
At what time?
It is, that's right,
Thank
that's the
you.
morning.
Here, you see it right here.
Oh, thank you.
You can keep
Do
that.
you want, okay, I was just gonna say.
5, right? That's what I was thinking.
Probably 5 from Cheryl.
But do they, I don't know.
Okay, so.
Here it is.
And then I think the big thing, I have a list you asked me for what things I'm working on, so I gave you that list.
Okay.
Did you see it, Ryan?
Just with the
October 18th.
roles.
I think Maggie's emailing it to you.
You could pass it.
We'll know tomorrow.
Those are roses, the big black boxes are roses for the rose ceremony.
It was really pretty.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Try to get-
And you had their color coded.
I
yeah.
like to do
Yeah.
We have put out an offer for sixth grade teacher. Okay. So we're deleting this.
Sorry, it's just,
That doesn't need approval, it's informational.
It's information, not just need approval, but just- Wow. Yeah, oops, lots going on.
Okay.
Lots of good stuff.
Any questions for Susan? You ready? Ready?
It doesn't say what our next meeting date is, but we don't have.
You need to have
yeah,
the
closed session.
closed session.
Yeah, did you think we were done?
It
The
is.
seven point.
Oh, there it is. I'm like, I do not have that, but it's on this page. Sorry.
You can evaluate it every board meeting.
It
I
takes
feel,
a long time
it
to evaluate.
feels like it has been that way.
It's
doesn't it?
complicated.
We can talk about it a lot.
So,
Yes.
good luck.
Bye, you can.
Oh, yeah, good things, so sure.
You can stop sharing and I can go and.
Closed session mean I leave.
Yes,
Yeah. Everybody was not.
You even kick Maggie.
yes.
Good luck. May the force be with you all.
Thank you for.
Of course. It was really
Total ADD mode.
It's okay. It was great to see everybody. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Bye, Sarah, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Yes, I did not see that on there.
Oh, you thought we were done? That must have just.
Poor
They probably
chickens,
hit
the poor
very
chickens
hard.
are probably wondering, what the heck is going on? Because everybody probably forgot.
Okay, bonne nuit.
Yes.
Thank you.
This one is-
And for the lovely presentation.
Yes. Somebody gave her a muscle relaxer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
Oh, come on, start video.
You're right.
Start video.
We have to open all the.
No,
Oh, there we go. We're on.
it's closed. Yay, there we are.
Okay, so our report out from closed session is that we are extending the executive director Susan's contract for another year at the approved budgeted amount. Okay, next meeting September 17th, 6 p.m. and that goes to adjournment. Good night, y'all.
Excellent.
Here we go.
Adjourning 8:34 p.m.
I'm sure.
Just chickens don't put the.
They do, but I have to like lock them.
Oh.